beginning of fall, I had made a fall bucket list, a mini one, and I posted it on my Instagram stories. And one of the things, the first thing actually on that list, was to make focaccia bread for the first time. Focaccia, from what I understand, is pretty simple of the breads to dive into. And I think the payoff is always really fun with focaccia. It's got like this really great bubbly texture. It pairs really well with dishes. And I just feel like it's one of those things that if I can perfect it, it will become a superstar dish because it's such a great dish to bring when you're going to people's houses. So here's my resting focaccia bread. I have saved you the trouble of having to witness me fold dough endlessly. The recipe I'm using is a same day focaccia bread, so I will have it linked in the description box below if I think it's good. If it's not linked down there, then I'd say try one that you have to keep overnight. But I started this in the morning, probably around 10 a.m. and it's about 3:30 now, so it's had multiple hours long rest. It's not something I'm just letting sit around for like 20 minutes or anything. So definitely some forward planning has to be used here. If making focaccia bread for the first time wasn't a challenge enough, I also thought, let's do focaccia art. I'm gonna get another camera going over here so you can see what's going on. I don't want you to miss any of the good stuff. Moment of truth. Oh, my dough is escaping. There's no reason for this, guys. Stop. Okay. Apparently I'm supposed to put olive oil on my hands so it doesn't stick, but I do fear what's happening here. And we're gonna jiggle. I think we're getting some good bubbles. Now for this focaccia art, I saw a little post on Pinterest that I'm going to follow. I might modify it a bit. I'm essentially trying to make spiders from black olives. I'm just gonna cut a ton of these in half to begin with because I know I'll need a few bodies. So our first option here is to have our body and do spider legs. So I'm gonna use this olive right here. So this would be what the legs would look like. Okay, that's kind of cute. What if I did like a mini one here? That's option one. Option two is to do an olive and rosemary instead. So I'd cut the rosemary in half. I kind of think the olive one looks better. It looks more authentically spider. So let's do that. The key here is to make them nice and thin. Really my only tip for you. It'll survive the oven, but here we go. I take back everything I said about this being tedious and unnecessary because this actually turned out so good. I really do wish you could smell this apartment right now because it's good. I'm also gonna remove the parchment paper. This is so cute. They did a fairly good job, the legs staying attached to the body. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this if you wanna spice up your focaccia for Halloween. I know like focaccia art is a segment of the internet that you really can, you know, dive deep into. I might have to play around with other focaccia designs, but I will say I love that you can just find ways to still play with food. It's really aligning with this idea of tapping into the creative side. It's something I've been talking a lot about this year, and I love that you can find ways to even do it in your routines, in your everyday cooking. Like, you know, you can make focaccia bread and make it an art project as well. I love, big fan. So I'm gonna let this sit for a bit before I do a taste test, but I feel like this was fairly easy, especially if you're not doing focaccia art. Focaccia was fairly simple. It's just a little bit of a waiting game because you have to let that rising happening. In the spirit of spooky season, I also want to bring some spooky vibes to my living room this year. I usually decorate very mildly for Halloween. I'll do like cobwebs, maybe some caution tape on actual Halloween night, but I usually don't go too crazy. One year I did the floating candles hack. Actually, I've done that a couple times, sometimes even for Christmas. So I'll have a link to that real TikTok link below if you're curious about it. This year I really wanted to go even simpler than the floating candles hack. So I thought it'd be fun to do flying bats. bats. I did this for super cheap. I just bought some black construction paper and had my cutting machine, my Cricut cutting machine, cut out bats, but you could obviously do this with just scissors. It would just be a little bit more of a tedious process. How I would go about doing it is printing out a template for a bat on printer paper and then tracing that, using that as a tracer for the bats onto construction paper. Now, I made sure I did different sizes. So I have my large bat, medium bat, and baby bat. And I figure I'm just gonna like create a little bit of bat wall art situation on like the right side of my TV going up. Now I think I'm going to be able to use just regular masking tape to keep these up, but there's also Scotch tape that is meant to be for wall art, I believe. I'll link that down in the description box below. Now I don't want to just hang them flat on the wall. I want them to have some lift. So I'm just going to gently curl the wings just by kind of doing that. Then the body of the bat is flat, so that's where the tape will go, but the wings will have some dimension. How these turned out. Very simple but easy DIY and like decor that doesn't I guess like break the bank. Also something that doesn't break the bank are these spider webs I bought from the dollar store. Now I bought this really early in the season and managed to find gray ones. I feel like whenever I go to the dollar store to pick up Halloween decorations, it's usually the week of Halloween and I don't end up finding the kind of cute stuff that I want. Not that spider webs are cute, but I think these gray ones might have the potential to be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing as far as faux spider webs go. I usually always get like the white ones and they do the job for sure, but this feels a little extra spooky and I think it'll tie the bats really well together if I put some spider webs on my sideboard. Oh, look at that pull. I like the grayness. My only tip with spider webs is to try and use as little as possible so that you do get that nice stretch, because when you've got little clogs of fabric here, it doesn't look as authentic. We want authenticity to a certain degree. I don't even think I'm going to use all of the spider webs I have. I have cut it. We're gonna do a taste test. Ooh, okay, that's good. I know I said the olive wouldn't add a lot of flavor, but it actually does. It's so bouncy. Because this did turn out good, I will include the recipe link in the description box below, but I am curious like how much more flavor development would happen if I let this rise overnight. Now, this is quite a bit of focaccia for just one person, so definitely one of those things that I'm more inclined to share with friends and family. I can also, whatever I don't end up eating or sharing, I can actually freeze, and I've read instructions from multiple sites that say if you wrap the focaccia in tin foil once you take it out of the freezer and heat it back up, it kind of brings it to life again. I want to show you something.
What is that?
Focaccia bread with olives as little spiders.
Oh my god, Caitlin, that is so cute. So cute.
Thanks. I might have to experiment with that for Thanksgiving or something, we'll see. L'Oreal had sent me some of their mascaras a while back, and there's this burgundy color that I've been meaning to try, and I figured today is a good day to just like experiment because I don't really have anywhere to be. So if this looks horrible, we'll just go with it. We'll roll with it. I just have to show you. You guys are the only ones that are going to witness this if this goes horribly, so I'm okay with that. I don't think it will be horrible though. I feel like with brown eyes, this could be a move. I think I talked about this when I originally got it. I believe it was on YouTube. Sometimes I lose track of where it was on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, but I don't tend to experiment really heavily with mascara colors. I either do black or brown, so this is new territory for me. This is the one, ooh, very, very old school YouTube style, which is what's occurring right now, but wow, that is burgundy. I actually need a real mirror, hold on. One eye is done, and I gotta say, I feel like it's actually much more subtle than I anticipated it being. I don't notice a lot of burgundy happening. It kind of reminds me of a brown mascara. Both eyes are now done, and I definitely think it's subtle. I do wish it was a little bit more colorful because, like I said, it does feel like I'm just wearing brown mascara, but maybe in the sunlight it'll pop. The other day I was at Winners and I got 2 things for the fall winter season. One of these is probably more fall spring oriented. I personally love a good turtleneck. I feel like especially in the winter when things get really cold, the power of a turtleneck to keep you from like hating your life when it's negative 30 degrees is beyond. You just don't know it until you've experienced it. But this one I was really attracted to at Winners because it's got this like blue stripe pattern going on, but even at the bottom of the sweater it has the piping of that color, and something about it just like feels very happy. Sometimes fall winter sweaters have more of like a serious moody feeling to them, like ooh, I'm embracing all that autumnal warmth and richness and those you know, really deep tones. But I like the more brightness of the lighter gray and then that pop of color, because as we know, I tend to be more of a black neutral girly. Not that this isn't neutral, but like finding opportunities for color play. And it was only $35 too, which is a pretty great price for a top. What's an even better price though is $35 for a vest, which is what I paid for this guy right here. Look at how beautiful this vest is. It's this, I wouldn't say, it's kind of cream. It looks a little warm on camera in the viewfinder right now, but it's a little bit of a cooler cream. And it has this beautiful black zipper detailing. It's from the Vero Moda brand, which is typically carried at Hudson's Bay. That's at least where I usually see it. And yeah, $35 for a vest. I think this is gonna pair beautifully even with something like what I'm wearing right now. I just like the fact that it has a little bit more personality with the two-tone than just a typical solid color vest. I've never owned one of these before, so I am definitely experimenting with this in my wardrobe. In this case, like, I just think it's really important to find something, yes, that you do love, but also that is at a price point where you're like, hey, because I'm experimenting with this type of piece in my wardrobe, I don't want to fully commit to the bit with something super expensive. And also in Canada, we don't get a lot of opportunity to use a vest like this. I feel like the season for wearing this, even with layers, is quite limited because then eventually it gets colder or it gets warmer, and you're rarely in this like in-betweenness. But nonetheless, I anticipate lots of beautiful fall morning walks with this on, and I'm excited to see if I'm a vest girly. How cute. I just feel like I need to go on a walk. Coffee in hand, headphones in, podcasts, good music, thinking about life, loving life, all the things will happen in this vest. It's got pockets too. I don't know, I'm really in love with this piece. I feel like this is like those finds at Winners that you're like, yes, this is a find. This is a gem. I'm just a girl who's happy about her purchases. Okay, now I'm a little warm. Ugh. You know,
This is a reminder, go get coffee.
Okay. It is not lost on me that over the last couple weeks, I feel like I haven't really spoken about the books I've been reading. So we kind of need to get back into that, because honestly, my favorite kind of PR that I'm about to show is book PR. And I got on the mailing list for this publisher, so I'm excited to have some of their nonfiction books come my way and, you know, perhaps find another read to like just chat to you guys about endlessly. This is the publisher Harry M. House, and the first one that they sent to me was You Weren't Supposed to See That by Joshua M. Brown. This is an investing book, secrets every investor should know. And there's actually a quote here from Morgan Housel, which is the writer of The Philosophy of Money, which I've talked a lot about on the channel. Another topic I feel like I don't hit on enough is my love for investing and how much investing has just become an autopilot practice in my life to help me feel like I am being an active participant in creating the financial future that I kind of want, right? But I have so much more to learn. It's constantly a process of learning, and any extra little tidbits I can get, I will welcome. So I am really excited to dive into this one. And then the other book I got sent is How to Live an Extraordinary Life by Anthony Pompliano. This book is kind of interesting because Anthony has written it in the form of letters to his children, so it's like life lessons. I think there's 60 in here. Also a little like taken aback by this cover because it kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it feels unfinished. It feels like it should have a nice shiny book jacket on it. There's also something very classy without the book jacket, so I'm conflicted on my thoughts on this one. One thing I'm not unsure about though is the fact that Harry M. House, the publisher, has on the first page of these physical books a link where you can download a digital ebook version of the physical book. Is that not incredible? I remember catching that with The Psychology of Money and really appreciating the fact that you're kind of getting a BOGO deal. You buy the physical book and then you also get the ebook. That's always my dream idea of what it should be like to buy a physical book nowadays. I know there's like probably a more complicated reason why that might not be, or just a money reason. Why give it to people when we can, you know, gain money from people buying the digital copy? But I really do appreciate that. I think it's so nice to be able to have the option of, yes, having this physically on my bookshelf, reading it physically when I want to, but also having the convenience of the digital copy that I can bring with me when I'm on the go, and I don't have to remember to bring my physical copy with me everywhere. Like, that's just like the perfect book buying situation. It makes me so happy. So appreciate that, and appreciate that they sent me these copies. SkinCeuticals also hooked me up with another skincare serum. Look at the nice packaging for it. It's so pretty, so scientific looking. Detox Amplified Peptide Powered Serum to reduce expression wrinkles and enhance glass skin radiance. Speaking of skincare, I actually had a pimple on my chin. I think you can kind of see it. That was so aggressive last night, and I thought today it was gonna be a monster. And for some reason I woke up, it looked instantly better, and I didn't even apply anything on. I did apply something on it. I forgot I used the Kate Somerville Eradicate pimple like stuff. I don't even know. It's not a cream. It's like a water-based substance that you put on there and it becomes like a mask on your pimple. I must have like rubbed it off or something in my sleep because I don't remember waking up with a pink dot on my face. But that would explain why the pimple isn't aggressive. I was about to use that as an example for how skincare can be confusing sometimes though, because it's hard to predict what your skin's gonna do, especially when hormones come into play. But apparently I just have short-term memory loss. So yeah, I guess maybe this is a little bit of a push for Eradicate. On that note, I think it's time to go get that coffee that apparently I needed to be reminded to have. So off I go to do that.
Laid under the willow tree, the last weekend of summer, the empire at our fingertips, the autumn to discover. If I would have had the worthiness to be the perfect lover, would you stay under the willow tree?